chosen ones, right now, a group of billionaires, the kind who don't usually gather unless empires are falling or fortunes are being made, are talking about you. But here's the twist that's about to flip your entire understanding of what's been happening to you. They're not plotting against you anymore. They're scrambling to figure out how you survived what should have been your complete annihilation. These bigwigs, these power brokers who thought they had you figured out, are now staring at evidence that's making them question everything they believed about power, about justice, and about the force that protected you when their entire system was weaponized against you. The conversation started 3 hours ago with nervous energy. Someone dimmed the lights and pulled up the presentation they thought would be routine damage control. Instead, what they uncovered has them loosening their ties and ordering stronger coffee. Because what they discovered isn't just that they were wrong about you. They discovered that someone played them like pawns in a game so sinister that even these hardened executives are struggling to process it. Someone wanted you buried, not fired, not transferred, buried, and they almost succeeded. But first, let me tell you what you already felt in your bones. About 3 months ago, the air around you changed. People who used to greet you warmly started avoiding eye contact. Meetings you should have been invited to happened without you. Projects you were leading suddenly had new managers. You felt it, that shift, that cold wind that blows through your life when unseen forces are moving against you. You probably thought you were being paranoid. You weren't. Your spirit was warning you that someone had painted a target on your back, and the hunters were already in position. The meeting that's happening right now started because of an investigation that backfired spectacularly. See, they thought they were investigating you for something massive, the kind of thing that doesn't just end careers but destroys entire bloodlines. Someone had presented them with what looked like airtight evidence, documents with your signature, photographs that seemed to place you at scenes you'd never been to, witness testimonies that painted you as the mastermind of something so dark that even speaking it aloud would change how people see you forever. But let me paint you the picture of exactly how this conspiracy began. 6 months ago, your ex sat in a coffee shop with someone you considered family. They weren't discussing the weather or catching up on old times. They were architecting your destruction with the precision of military strategists planning an invasion. Your ex had brought documents, financial records they'd stolen from your personal files, photographs they'd taken when you trusted them with your vulnerability, private information that only someone who'd been intimate with your life would possess. The family member across from them was taking notes, not just casual observations, detailed notes about your schedule, your habits, your passwords that you'd mentioned in passing. They were documenting your vocal patterns so they could mimic them. They were studying photos of you from different angles so they could perfect their impersonation. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was premeditated destruction, with a price tag attached. The $200,000 kept coming up in their conversation. That's what they calculated they could get from various insurance policies, fraudulent claims, and the assets they could seize once you were out of the picture. They had spreadsheets. Actual spreadsheets calculating the return on investment of your destruction. Your life had been reduced to a profit and loss statement, and they decided you were worth more dead than alive. These executives, these decision makers who pride themselves on being 3 steps ahead, got played. But they didn't know it yet. They launched their investigation with the kind of resources usually reserved for taking down criminal enterprises: private investigators, financial auditors, digital forensics experts, even people who specialize in reading body language and detecting deception. They threw everything at you because they were convinced you were guilty of something unthinkable. The lead investigator, a woman who'd spent 30 years uncovering corporate fraud and criminal conspiracies, was certain she'd have you convicted within weeks. She'd seen the evidence. The paper trail was perfect. Too perfect, she realizes now. But at the time, she was convinced you were the most sophisticated criminal she'd ever pursued. She assigned her best team to shadow you. They tracked your movements, monitored your communications, analyzed your financial transactions going back years. Here's where the story takes its first divine turn. Every single trap that was set for you failed. Not some of them, all of them. The meeting you were supposed to attend where they planned to confront you. You got mysteriously delayed in traffic. Not just any traffic. A 3-car pileup that happened exactly where you would have been if you'd left on time. The accident was minor. Nobody was seriously hurt, but it created a delay that saved you from walking into an ambush that would have destroyed your career in front of witnesses. The documents they were going to use to incriminate you. A system glitch corrupted the files hours before the presentation. But not just any glitch. The IT department later discovered that the corruption occurred at the exact timestamp when the forged signatures were added to the documents. It was as if the digital universe itself rejected the false evidence. The backup files suffered the same corruption at the same moment, something the tech team said was statistically impossible. The witness who was supposed to deliver the killing testimony, they developed a sudden crisis of conscience and refused to lie. But here's what really happened. The night before they were supposed to testify against you, they had a dream. In that dream they saw themselves telling the truth. They saw the consequences of their lies, not just for you but for their own soul. They woke up at 3:33 a.m. in a cold sweat and decided they couldn't go through with it. They called the investigators and recanted everything. If this message is hitting your spirit right now, if you're feeling that recognition in your chest, hype this video so more chosen ones can discover what's really happening behind the scenes of their persecution. The executives in that room right now are reviewing what they're calling anomalies, but what you and I know as divine intervention. They're looking at a pattern so consistent that even their most skeptical members are using words like miraculous and impossible. They can't understand how you navigated through a minefield without stepping on a single explosive. They don't comprehend how every weapon formed against you malfunctioned at the crucial moment. But wait, there's another layer to this that's just being uncovered. Your ex didn't just recruit one accomplice. They had built a network. There were people in your workplace feeding them information. There were individuals in your social circle who were documenting your activities. There were even service workers, the barista at your coffee shop, the clerk at your gym, who were being paid to report on your movements. Your ex had turned your entire world into a surveillance state without you knowing it. The money trail that's being exposed right now is staggering. Your ex had taken out loans to finance this operation. They'd maxed out credit cards paying people to participate in your destruction. They were so certain of their payday that they'd already spent money they didn't have. The investigators found receipts for luxury items purchased the week they expected you to be arrested. They'd already planned their celebration of your downfall, but the real shock came when they discovered who was behind it all. This is where your story transforms from persecution to vindication. The person who orchestrated this entire conspiracy wasn't some distant enemy. It was someone who had intimate access to your life. Someone who knew your patterns, your passwords, your vulnerabilities. Someone who had smiled in your face while documenting everything they'd need to destroy you. Your ex. That person who once claimed to love you more than life itself. They were the architect of your destruction. But they weren't working alone. They had recruited a family member. Someone who looked enough like you to pass for you in carefully staged scenarios. Together they created an elaborate illusion designed to make you look like a monster, while they played the victims. The family members' involvement went deeper than anyone initially realized. They hadn't just impersonated you. They'd studied you with the dedication of a method actor preparing for the role of a lifetime. They'd practiced your walk, your mannerisms, your speech patterns. They'd even gone so far as to get similar clothes, similar haircuts, similar accessories. They'd transformed themselves into your dark mirror, a twisted version of you that could perform the crimes you were being accused of. The evidence that's being reviewed in that boardroom right now is staggering. Your ex and their accomplice didn't just want to ruin your reputation. They wanted to cash in on your destruction. Life insurance policies had been taken out. Beneficiary forms had been forged. The number that keeps appearing in the documents is $200,000. That's what your life was worth to them. That's the price tag they put on your complete annihilation. But there were more policies. As the investigators dig deeper, they're finding insurance policies you didn't even know existed. Disability insurance that would pay out if you were incarcerated. Professional liability insurance that could be claimed if you were found guilty of corporate crimes, even identity theft insurance that they plan to claim after destroying your reputation. The total value of all these policies, nearly $500,000. Here's where divine justice starts to reveal its perfect design. The very surveillance systems they set up to frame you became the instruments of their exposure. They were so confident in their plan that they recorded everything, every conspiracy meeting, every moment of fabricating evidence, every laugh they shared while discussing your downfall. They created an archive of their own crimes, thinking they were building a case against you. The recordings are damning beyond belief. In one, your ex can be heard saying, "After this they'll never work again. They'll be lucky if they're not in prison for 20 years. The family member responds, "And will be set for life. This is better than winning the lottery." They actually clinked glasses and toasted to your destruction. They celebrated prematurely, not knowing that heaven was recording everything on a different kind of cloud storage. The investigator who uncovered this is actually in that meeting right now. A woman with 30 years of experience who's seen every kind of corporate crime imaginable, but even she's shaken by what she found. The meticulous planning, the calculated cruelty, the patience with which your enemies waited for the perfect moment to strike. She's telling the executives that in her entire career, she's never seen anything this diabolical. She's now showing them something that just arrived on her desk. Screenshots from a hidden social media account your ex was maintaining. They were documenting your destruction in real time, sharing updates with a small group of co-conspirators. The posts read like a serial killer's diary. Day 47. They still don't suspect anything. Day 92. The foundation is crumbling, just as planned. Day 131. Tomorrow it all comes crashing down. The level of premeditation is making even these hardened executives nauseous. What's making these powerful people sweat isn't just that they almost participated in destroying an innocent person. It's that they're realizing they were one decision away from being accomplices to something that would have made headlines around the world. The legal ramifications alone could destroy their entire organization. The reputational damage would be irreversible. They're not just trying to make things right with you. They're trying to save themselves from the avalanche of consequences heading their way. There's a moment of silence in the room as they absorb what this means. One executive, a man who built his fortune on reading people and situations, speaks up. "We didn't just almost destroy an innocent person," he says. "We almost participated in something that would have haunted this organization for decades. If this had gone through, if we had acted on this false evidence, we would have become the case study in every business school for how powerful organizations can be manipulated into destroying innocent lives." The conversation has shifted from "how do we handle the situation with this person?" to "how did this person survive what we now know was an attempted murder of their character, their career, and possibly their actual life." They're reviewing your work performance during the months when you were under the most intense attack. While your world was being systematically destroyed, you were producing some of the best work of your career. While lies were being spread about you, you were exceeding every metric they measured. The data they're looking at doesn't make sense by any conventional measure. Your productivity increased by 34% during the period of highest stress. Your innovation metrics were off the charts. You launched 3 new initiatives that are now being recognized as industry game changers. You mentored 5 junior employees who all credit you with transforming their careers. All of this while someone was trying to destroy your life. The executives are looking at each other with the same unspoken question: how is this possible? One executive, a man who's built his career on reading people, just said something that changed the entire energy in the room. He said, "This isn't natural. No one maintains this level of excellence while under this kind of pressure unless they have supernatural support." The room went quiet, because they all know he's right. What they witnessed wasn't just resilience, it was divine protection in action. Another executive, someone known for their skepticism and hard-nosed approach to business, adds something that surprises everyone. "I've been in this business for 40 years, she says. "I've seen people crumble under a fraction of this pressure. I've watched careers end over rumors that weren't half as damaging as what this person faced." The fact that they not only survived but thrived. We're not looking at luck. We're looking at something else entirely. The HR director is now presenting a timeline that's making everyone uncomfortable. Every date your enemies chose to execute their plan coincided with something that protected you. The day they planned to have you arrested, you were unexpectedly called out of town for a family emergency. The night they arranged for you to be in a compromising position, you felt inexplicably ill and stayed home. The meeting where they planned your professional execution, it was mysteriously cancelled due to a power outage. But here's what's really unsettling. The power outage only affected the building where the meeting was supposed to happen. The buildings on either side had full power. The utility company has no explanation for it. Their systems show that power was flowing normally to that building. Yet for exactly 2 hours, during the exact time of your scheduled execution, the lights were out. When the meeting was rescheduled, the key witness who was supposed to testify against you had disappeared. These aren't coincidences. These are coordinates in a divine protection protocol that's been operating around you since birth. You're not just lucky, you're protected by forces that these executives are only now beginning to comprehend. Some of them are secretly terrified. They've realized they didn't just falsely accuse an employee, they potentially attacked someone under supernatural protection. And if there's one thing powerful people fear, it's power they can't understand or control. The legal team has just entered the room with news that's shifting everything again. Your ex and their accomplice have been arrested. Not just detained for questioning, arrested. The evidence against them is so overwhelming that bail is being denied. The conspiracy they crafted has been unraveled thread by thread, and each thread leads back to them. The very system they tried to use against you has become their judge, jury, and executioner. The prosecutor assigned to their case is someone known for their tenacity. They've never lost a case of this magnitude. They're treating this like the crime of the century because in many ways it is. The attempted destruction of an innocent person using sophisticated technology, elaborate conspiracies, and forged evidence. This is the kind of case that makes careers, and the prosecutor is determined to make sure your enemies never see freedom again. But there's more. The investigation has revealed that this wasn't their first attempt. There were others before you. Other lives were destroyed. Other careers ended. Other people who didn't survive what you survived. You weren't just their target. You were supposed to be their masterpiece, the culmination of everything they'd learned from their previous victims. Except this time, they hit a wall they couldn't see, a protection they couldn't penetrate, a force they couldn't overcome. The investigators have found evidence of at least 3 other victims, people whose lives were systematically destroyed using similar methods. But those people didn't have what you have. They didn't have divine protection. They didn't have heaven's hedge around them. Their stories ended in tragedy. Yours is ending in triumph. And the executives in that room are beginning to understand that they're witnessing something unprecedented. The CFO just pulled up your file and discovered something that has everyone leaning forward. During the exact period when you were being hunted, when every system was turned against you, when your enemies were certain they had you cornered, you were quietly building something extraordinary. Projects that weren't on anyone's radar, innovations that nobody saw coming, connections that would prove invaluable. While they were trying to bury you, you were planting seeds that are now growing into forests. You filed 7 patents during this period, 7 innovations that are now being fast-tracked because of their potential to revolutionize the industry. You established partnerships with 3 international organizations that are now bringing millions in revenue. You developed a training program that's being adopted company-wide. All of this while someone was actively trying to destroy you. The executives are looking at these achievements and realizing they're not looking at a regular employee. They're looking at someone operating on a different level entirely. This is what's really impressing them. Not just that you survived, but that you thrived. Not just that you endured, but that you evolved. The pressure that was meant to crush you transformed you into a diamond. The fire that was meant to consume you forged you into something unbreakable. They're looking at your transformation and realizing they're dealing with someone extraordinary. The head of security just revealed something that has everyone stunned. The digital evidence your enemies created using AI and deepfake technology was so sophisticated that it fooled their initial investigators. But when they enhanced the images, when they really examined the metadata, they found something inexplicable: timestamps that didn't exist, geographic coordinates that pointed to nowhere, IP addresses that traced back to servers that had been destroyed years ago. It was as if the universe itself was rejecting the false evidence. One image in particular has them baffled. It supposedly showed you at a location where criminal activity was taking place, but when they analyzed the shadows in the photo, they discovered something impossible. The shadows were falling in multiple directions, as if there were 3 different light sources. When they checked the weather data for that day and time, it was overcast. There should have been no shadows at all. The fake evidence was literally defying the laws of physics. Now they're discussing what to offer you, not because they're generous, but because they're terrified of what happens if this story goes public. They know you could destroy them with a single press conference. You could liquidate their entire operation with one lawsuit. You hold the kind of power that keeps executives awake at night, and they need to make you an offer you can't refuse. The compensation package they're structuring isn't just about money, though the numbers they're discussing would secure generational wealth. They're talking about creating a position that doesn't exist yet, a role that would give you oversight over the very systems that were used against you. They want to make you the guardian of justice within their organization. They want your divine protection to become their corporate shield. The base salary they're proposing is 10 times your current compensation. But that's just the beginning. Stock options that would make you one of the largest individual shareholders, a signing bonus that equals what most people earn in a lifetime, performance bonuses that have no cap. They're essentially offering you a blank check, because they know that whatever they pay you will be less than what you could take from them in court. But some of them are going further. They're suggesting that you should be brought into the innermost circle, the place where real decisions are made, the room where empires are built and destroyed. They recognize that someone who survived what you survived, someone who thrived while being hunted, someone who maintained integrity while being lied about, is exactly the kind of person they need at the highest levels. One executive, a woman who rarely speaks in these meetings, makes a point that silences everyone. This person didn't just survive an attack, she says. They transformed an attempted assassination into an elevation. They turned persecution into promotion. If they can do that with their enemy's worst intentions, imagine what they could do with our full support. We're not just trying to avoid a lawsuit here. We're looking at potentially the most valuable addition to our leadership team in the company's history. The conversation is getting heated now. Some executives think they should approach you immediately with their best offer. Others think they need more time to understand what they're really dealing with, because the evidence of divine intervention in your case is challenging everything they thought they knew about how the world works. They built their careers on the belief that money and power were the ultimate forces, but they just witnessed something that trumped both. The investigator is now showing them something that just arrived. Security footage from the night your enemies claim you were somewhere incriminating. But the footage doesn't show what they expected. It shows something that doesn't make sense. A figure that looks like you but moves wrong. Shadows that fall in impossible directions. Reflections that don't match the person casting them. The fake you that your enemies created is literally glitching in reality. The tech team has analyzed this footage frame by frame. In one frame, the person supposed to be you has your face but different hands. In another, they have your body type, but their shadow is the wrong height. In yet another, they're wearing clothes you own, but the fabric patterns don't match any clothing you've actually purchased. It's as if reality itself was rejecting the impersonation, leaving breadcrumbs for anyone willing to look closely enough. This is making them realize the level of evil they were dealing with. Your enemies didn't just lie about you. They tried to rewrite reality itself. They attempted to create a false history, a fabricated present, and a destroyed future. But reality has a way of rejecting lies when they're told about chosen ones. The universe itself maintains the integrity of truth when it comes to those it protects. The psychiatrist they brought in to profile you just delivered his assessment. He says your psychological resilience during this period indicates one of two things. Either you're a sociopath who feels nothing, or you're operating with a level of spiritual support that transcends normal human capacity. Then he shows them your work during this period. The compassion you showed to others, the kindness you maintained despite being persecuted, the integrity you displayed while being lied about. His conclusion: you're not a sociopath, you're something else entirely. He presents email after email where you helped colleagues with their projects while your own world was falling apart. Messages where you encouraged others who were facing challenges that paled in comparison to yours. Performance reviews you wrote for your team members that were glowing with genuine praise, written during the very weeks when you were being framed for crimes you didn't commit. This isn't the behavior of someone without empathy. He says, this is the behavior of someone operating from a higher plane of consciousness. Now they're afraid, not of you, but of what protects you. They're realizing that they narrowly avoided declaring war on heaven itself. Some of them are actually discussing bringing in spiritual advisors to help them understand what they're dealing with. Others are suggesting they need to completely restructure how they evaluate situations like this in the future. The atheists in the room are having existential crises in real time. One executive just pulled up his phone and showed the others something. It's a text message thread between him and his wife from 3 weeks ago. He had told her about the investigation into you, convinced you were guilty. His wife, who had never met you, responded with something that now seems prophetic. Be very careful. Sometimes things aren't what they seem, and you might be fighting against something bigger than you understand. He didn't listen then. He's listening now. The offer they're finalizing is unprecedented. Complete restoration of your position with back pay for the entire period of persecution. Promotion to a level you wouldn't have reached for another decade. Stock options that would make you a significant shareholder. A personal security detail to ensure this never happens again. And most importantly, a public vindication that will be so thorough, so complete, that anyone who ever doubted you will have to publicly apologize. But they're also offering something money can't buy. They want to make you untouchable within their organization and their industry. They're prepared to use their influence to ensure that every door that was closed to you is not just opened but removed from its hinges. Every opportunity that was stolen from you will be returned tenfold. Every relationship that was poisoned will be restored or replaced with something better. They're even discussing creating a new division within the company with you at its head. A division focused on innovation and integrity. A place where your unique combination of creative excellence and supernatural resilience can be fully utilized. They're talking about giving you a team, a budget, and the autonomy to build something that reflects the very qualities that helped you survive their attempted destruction. The restraining orders are already being processed, not against you, but for you. Your ex and their accomplice will never be able to come near you again. The legal system that they tried to weaponize against you has become your permanent shield. The investigators who were assigned to prove your guilt have become witnesses to your innocence. The prosecutors who were prepared to destroy you are now prepared to destroy your enemies. But it goes beyond restraining orders. They're implementing what they're calling a protective protocol around you. Any communication about you will be monitored. Any investigation involving you will require multiple levels of approval. Any complaint against you will be scrutinized with the assumption that it could be another attack. They're essentially building a fortress around your professional life to ensure that no one can ever attempt this again. As this meeting enters its 5th hour, something significant is happening. These executives are transforming from your judges to your advocates. They're not just trying to avoid a lawsuit anymore. They genuinely want to recruit you to their highest levels, because they've realized that someone who can survive what you survived while maintaining excellence is exactly the kind of leader they need. The conversation has evolved into something none of them expected. They're discussing how your experience could transform their entire organization, how your supernatural resilience could be taught to others, how your ability to maintain integrity under pressure could become the gold standard for leadership development. They're seeing you not as a problem to be solved, but as a solution to problems they didn't even know they had. The spiritual advisor they brought in just said something that has everyone silent. He said, "You didn't just falsely accuse an innocent person, you challenged heaven's chosen one, and heaven always wins." The temperature in the room seems to drop, because whether they believe in spiritual things or not, they can't deny what they've witnessed. The evidence of divine intervention is undeniable. He continues, "This person carries a blessing that turns curses into benefits. Every attack against them becomes ammunition for their advancement. Every lie told about them becomes truth that elevates them. You're not dealing with normal human resilience. You're dealing with divine favor. And divine favor doesn't just protect, it promotes. Your enemies are now experiencing the full reversal of their plans. The prison they planned for you has become their residence. The poverty they planned for you has become their inheritance. The isolation they planned for you has become their social reality. Everyone knows what they tried to do. Their names are poison in every professional circle. They've become cautionary tales told in boardrooms about what happens when you attack someone under divine protection. The latest update from the prosecutor is devastating for them. Additional charges are being filed every day as more evidence emerges. Conspiracy to commit fraud, identity theft, cyber terrorism, attempted murder by character assassination. The list keeps growing. The prosecutor is confident they're looking at 25 to life. Your ex's attorney has already indicated they want to discuss a plea deal, but the prosecutor isn't interested. They want this to go to trial. They want the world to see what happens when evil attacks innocence. The family member who helped them is facing consequences that go beyond legal punishment. Their betrayal has created a rift in the family that may never heal. They sold their soul for money they'll never see, and now they're left with nothing but the echo of their own treachery. Every family gathering for the rest of their life will be marked by the absence of trust, the presence of shame, and the weight of what they did to their own blood. Their children have disowned them. Their spouse has filed for divorce. Their friends have disappeared. The community that once embraced them now crosses the street to avoid them. They've become a pariah in every sense of the word. The $200,000 they thought they'd gain has become a debt they'll never be able to pay, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, and socially. But you're about to experience elevation that you couldn't have imagined, not just restoration but transformation, not just vindication but glorification. The very system that was turned against you is about to become your platform. The very people who were convinced of your guilt are about to become your greatest advocates. The very organization that almost destroyed you is about to make you one of its most powerful leaders. The meeting is concluding now with a decision. They're going to approach you tomorrow, not with an apology, because that would admit liability, but with an offer that says everything without saying anything. They're going to present you with opportunities that weren't available to you before this persecution. They're going to open doors that were previously locked. They're going to offer you power that you never sought, but definitely deserve. They've assigned their best negotiator to present the offer, someone known for their ability to close impossible deals, but they've given them unusual instructions. Don't negotiate, they've been told. Give them everything, and if they ask for more, give them that too. We can't afford to lose this person, not after what we've witnessed. What they still don't fully understand is that this was always your destiny. The persecution was just the pathway to your promotion. The lies were just the labor pains of your truth being born. The attempted destruction was just the demolition necessary before your reconstruction. Heaven used your enemy's evil intentions to position you exactly where you were always meant to be. As you receive this message, understand that your vindication is not coming. It has already arrived. The meeting that just concluded has sealed your enemy's fate and secured your future. The investigation that was meant to destroy you has become the documentation of your divine protection. The persecution that was meant to end you has become the platform for your elevation. Tomorrow, when they approach you with their offer, remember that you're not negotiating from a position of need, but from a position of power. They need you more than you need them. They need your forgiveness more than you need their money. They need your participation more than you need their platform. The entire dynamic has shifted, and you're now the one holding all the cards. Now I want to take a moment to tell you about a few individuals that shouldn't exist. a trained occultist who escaped from a satanic coven, a former Black Ops drone pilot who flew swarms with his mind, a multi-millionaire psychic CFO who predicted market shifts before they happened. What do these remarkable individuals have in common? You'll find them all in the Obsidian Inner Order, where they share their forbidden knowledge on our private Discord server. My chosen soul has drunk deep from the well of knowledge aeon after aeon. In this incarnation, these extraordinary individuals became my allies in the Obsidian Inner Order. They recognized the call. They stepped forward. They connected with others who understand their unique gifts and burdens. What is stopping you from manifesting the same? The synchronicities that brought them here weren't accidents. Neither is your discovery of this message. When souls of this caliber gather, the Archons take notice. They fear our collective power. They know what happens when the truly awakened find each other. Join our weekly calls, hear their stories firsthand, share your own journey with those who won't dismiss or doubt you. The knowledge exchanged in our private channels cannot be found anywhere else on this plane. Click the link in the description below now. The extraordinary souls await your arrival. The question isn't whether you belong among them. The question is, how much longer will you wait to claim your place? Here's what makes your position even stronger. They know you have options. Other organizations have been watching this situation. Headhunters have been circling. Competitors have been preparing offers. Everyone wants to hire the person who survived the unsurvivable, who thrived under impossible pressure, who maintained integrity while being attacked from all sides. You've become the most sought-after talent in your industry, without even trying. Your story is about to become legend within certain circles. The chosen one who survived the unsurvivable, the innocent who was protected by the invisible, the persecuted who became the promoted. People will study your case for years, trying to understand how you maintain such excellence under such extreme pressure. What they won't understand is that chosen ones operate with supernatural support. Business schools will teach your case. Leadership programs will analyze your response. Psychological studies will be written about your resilience, but none of them will capture the true source of your strength. They'll attribute it to mental toughness, emotional intelligence, or exceptional character. They won't understand that you were simply protected by forces that transcend human comprehension. The protection that surrounded you during this attack wasn't random. It was precise. Every intervention was perfectly timed. Every protection was strategically placed. Every divine move was calculated to not just save you, but to elevate you. This is how heaven operates when one of its chosen ones is under attack. It doesn't just defend, it devastates the attackers while elevating the attack. Stand tall, chosen one. Your enemies have fallen into the pit they dug for you. Your vindication is complete and undeniable. Your elevation is beginning, and it will surpass anything you could have imagined. The very people who were prepared to destroy you are now prepared to promote you to heights you never thought possible. This is what happens when heaven intervenes. This is what occurs when divine justice is activated. This is the power of being chosen. You didn't just survive something dreadful. You succeeded in ways that have very important people not just impressed but transformed. They've witnessed something that's changed their understanding of power, protection, and the forces that truly run this universe. Your time has come. Your vindication is complete. Your elevation begins now. The universe itself has declared your victory, and every enemy who stood against you is about to understand what it means to fight heaven and lose. The dreadful thing they tried to do has become the divine thing that elevates you beyond their wildest imagination. You are untouchable. You are chosen. You are chosen.